Hi everybody, I just wanted to show you my brand new RO system, which I just set up in my garage. It's a 5-stage system by Bulk Resupply. It produces 150 gallons per day. It is a water saver system, which is important for those of us that live in areas that have a drought season. So less wastewater is going down the drain, which is important. I have this system mounted on a board between the wood studs in my garage. And I did that instead of just attaching the brackets directly to the wall using toggle bolts. And that was at the recommendation of another YouTube channel. And this is important, especially if you're going into drywall. You don't want to go directly into the drywall. And even though the toggle bolts will hold up the brackets, and this system is about maybe 50 pounds when it's full of water. The reason is because when it comes time for you to remove these filters to change them out, you have to apply quite a bit of torque to get the filters off. And you don't want to be ripping your brackets off the wall, and that's a whole other nightmare you don't want to get into. So I mounted the brackets using round-headed wood screws to the wood board. But instead of screwing them all the way in, I left a little bit of space between the wood and the bracket. And the brackets are designed just to slide on. And if ever in the future I need to take the system down to work on it, it lifts off, the brackets lift off the screws quite easily, which makes it convenient. This system, I'm feeding in, there are a lot of ways you can run this. You can run it off a sink faucet. They send you a whole bunch of different adapters. And they had a nice little sink faucet adapter, but it just wasn't convenient for me. So what I'm doing is behind my washer, I have a cold water source for the washer, the cold water faucet. They sent me a nice little adapter here, which fits right onto a Y adapter. And you can pick up a Y adapter at any hardware store. So onto the cold water supply for the washer. On one side, I reattached the cold line, water line going back into my washing machine. And you can always tell your cold water line has the blue stripe on it. And I attached their adapter to the other side. Now this little Y adapter is nice because it has like on-off toggle switches, so you can turn the water off if you ever have to work on the system, or you can just turn it off back here, and whichever is more convenient for you. With this adapter too, this is the red supply line that feeds the cold water into the RO system. This just pushes right in. It's so simple. It just pushes right into this adapter. If you ever have to remove it, and this is for all the adapters that the water tubes or the tubing fits into on the RO system, they come with little collars, and these kind of lock everything in place. So if you ever need to remove it, you want to take 2 fingers and you want to press this collar down, and with your other hand kind of squeeze the tubing while you're pressing down on the collar and pull it straight out. It's that simple. And to put the tubing back in, you just push it back in as far as it'll go, and that's all there is to it. It's important to make sure that you're attaching this to your cold water source and not your hot water source, because hot water can destroy your membrane in a matter of minutes. So you don't want to do that. The black line here, which is coming off the RO system, is your wastewater. And you can either run that into your sink, or as I'm doing it, there's a drain here, a wastewater drain here for the washer. I'm just running that black line down the drain as far as it'll go. And coming back over here to the RO system, the blue line, which feeds off the very last membrane on the right, that's your clean RO water. That's the water that has all the minerals and toxins and bad stuff removed and all the chlorines and everything. This is the water that you're going to save for your aquarium. And to save my water, I'm using a Brute trash can. This is a brand new clean Brute trash can. It's never been used for anything else. So this blue water line off the RO system is going to, it's not going to feed directly in here, but what it's going to do, and if I can grab this line for a second, it's going to feed into a float valve. And the reason you want to use a float valve is when the water fills up to this level, it shuts it off. So it prevents you from overfilling this tub and flooding your basement or your garage or whatever. So this line just, these are plastic fittings, so you just have to hand tighten them. Don't use a wrench or anything because you can crack them. When you're ready to feed this line into your float valve, with two hands, you push this in as far as it'll go, and then you screw this lock nut down, and it's designed to give you a leak-proof fitting. To install the float valve, you want to drill a 1/2-inch hole in the side of, and it's pretty easy, in the side of this trash can. They sell drill bits that are specifically made for plastic. The one I bought is called a dowel drill bit. It has like a little sharp point on the very end of it. So you drill your 1/2-inch hole. I came down just a little bit. I didn't run the float valve all the way up to the top because I wanted a little margin for error here. Because the particular float valve I got is the adjustable. They were out of the fixed. And in case that lock nut ever came off and this thing failed to work, hopefully I can catch it in time. But as you thread this through, there's a silicone washer here that fits up flush against the side of the trash can. And that's important. You want to make sure that's on the inside because that's going to prevent any leaking. To get my water back out of the trash can, I've used these pumps before. I bought a Eco Plus 396 pump, and they're nice. They have little suction cup feet that fit right to the bottom. And I bought some 1/2-inch vinyl tubing on Amazon. You can get them in rolls of 25, 50 feet, however long you need. And the end of this will feed into my 5-gallon bucket for collection when I'm ready to pump water out and do a water change on my aquarium. One important thing is that when you first set up your system and you first turn it on, you don't want to start draining water into your storage container. You want to put the end of this in your sink for the first hour and drain off the first hour's collection. And that's because the carbon block filters have a lot of dust in them, and the RO membranes have an oily preservative, and you don't want to collect that. You want to send that the first hour or so down the drain. Then after that, you should be good to go. Trying to think if there was anything else that I needed to. Oh yeah, if you find that you need to, like I did, I had to buy additional tubing here because this was just too short. They don't send you enough to feed into a tub. It's worth the extra few dollars to buy they sell a specialized cutter that cuts this RO tubing. And the reason you want to spend the extra few dollars is because if you try to cut this with a pair of scissors or a knife or any other cutter, if it's not a perfect cut, if it's on a slight angle, it's a little rough, or there's a nick, if it's not perfectly where it'll fit perfectly flush up against inside the specialized fitting, you're going to have problems. You're going to have a leak. So it's worth the extra dollars to buy their specialized cutter. Because on down the road, if you decide you want to add onto your system, add another membrane, you're going to have to buy more tubing or cut tubing, or replace it. You know, I don't know how long this lasts. It should last a long time, but it's not that expensive and it's worth having. The only other thing is that I have, depending on how you're going to get your water out of your system, I mounted a AC outlet strip on the board up above. It has an on-off switch, so when I'm not using the pump, I keep it turned off, and that way I can just plug my pump in. And I can't think of anything else that I might have missed. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section. I'm excited to get this thing up and running. I have a few more things to do to tweak it. But anyhow, thanks for watching. I hope this helps if you're ever in the market for an RO system. I'm very happy with this so far. I mean, the customer support is great from Bulk Reef Supply, and they've been in business for a long time, and that's important. They've been around. It's not going to be a hassle trying to get replacement filters. And if you ever have a problem, their warranty on the product is quite good. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching.